I don't think the Prime Minister is going anywhere. I think he's going to remain. And people in the RSS also know it. People in the RSS have accepted the reality that he will be the chair of the party in 2029. The RSS, I'm told, got a bit of a shock because while they would like Modi to change his style of functioning, to take their concerns much more on board, they don't want to do anything that brings Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party back to power, which then undoes everything that has been done in the last 11 years. This says, the organization is very important, supremely important, particularly as they complete 100 years. And and their core agenda, most of it has been achieved. So what is the direction now for the BJP and the RSS in the coming years? Party chief of the BJP becomes a very important figure with whom they have to liaise. And I think RSS looks at the span of 50 years ahead, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, and the direction in which they look at India as a civilizational entity and therefore taking their agenda forward.
Has Bhagwat in categorical terms conveyed to Prime Minister Modi that RSS doesn't want him as the Prime Minister? And so he should start thinking of stepping down, or if he hasn't begun to think, at least he should start planning. Is that a message which has been sent out by Mohan Bhagwat's statement yesterday?
By innuendo, yes. In a nuanced way, yes. Mohan Bhagwat's statements which are critical of the BJP or the government are not direct.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat has stirred a hornet's nest because he was speaking at a book release function in Nagpur, where he said that when you turn 75, it means you should stop now and make way for others. Now, he was speaking in connection with the RSS ideologue Moropant Pingle, when he said, and I'm going to quote exactly what he said, that Moropant Pingle once said that if you're honored with a shawl after turning 75, it means that you should stop now. You are old, step aside and let others come in. After this statement, people have been discussing about the reasons why Mohan Bhagwat made a statement like this. There have been huge political reactions coming from across the party lines, whether it is Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray or Congress. Several parties have responded to this. That is Mohan Bhagwat trying to force Prime Minister Modi to retire. But then the other question is that even Mohan Bhagwat is turning 75. So if he wants Modi to retire, what happens to Mohan Bhagwat? Will he retire himself? And if he retires, is there going to be adequate pressure on Prime Minister Modi to abandon the Prime Minister's seat? Joining me this evening is veteran author, journalist, and political commentator Neerja Chowdhury. Thank you so much, Neerja, for joining. And on a subject like this, your first thoughts on what Mohan Bhagwat has really said on 75 years of age. Now, is he trying to indicate that he will be retiring, or is he trying to show a mirror to Prime Minister Modi? How do you really make of this statement?
Look, I'd asked this question of a very senior BJP leader a couple of years ago. In fact, maybe not couple, maybe over a year ago. And the answer was rules can be changed. So I don't think the Prime Minister is going anywhere. I think he's going to remain. And people in the RSS also know it. People in the RSS have accepted the reality that he will be the chair of the party in 2029. Now, why does the most significant part is, if that is the case, why is Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, the head of the RSS, raising this issue at this particular juncture, which is really 1.5 months or 2 months away from their birthdays? Mohan Bhagwat turned 75 and Prime Minister Modi also turned 75 in the month of September. Now, It could it be, some people have said, will Mohan Bhagwat retire so as to put pressure on the Prime Minister to do likewise? I don't know the answer to that, but I don't certainly expect Prime Minister Modi to just, walk into the sunset and make way for somebody else. I think, so why is
But
Mr.
before
Mohan
I come
Bhagwat
to,
saying all this?
allow me to interrupt you, but before I come to Modi, my first question to you is that if given an option, is Mohan Bhagwat really going to retire? No matter how many times he's spoken about this, but the very fact, you think there is a possibility where Bhagwat is going to retire?
That could be possible. I don't know the answer to that, but that
Okay.
could be possible. And if he does, yes, there'll be charcha all around, discussions all around, whether Modi
Mhm.
should do likewise, because they made, as you said yourself, L.K. Advani, Murli Manoj Joshi, and others to walk into the Margdarshak Mandali, which has never met, virtually never met. So, why is Mohan Bhagwat saying it now? Now, we must remember for the last 1 year, ever since the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, in which the party got 240 seats, and one of the reasons was that the RSS was not very happy with the BJP top brass, and they did not put their best foot forward in the Lok Sabha elections. And that is the reason why, particularly in UP, that tally came down to 33 seats, down from 62 in 2019. And that came as a real shock also to the BJP and to the RSS also. They may have wanted to give a jolt to the BJP, but they certainly did not want the party to come below the majority mark. So in the subsequent state elections, that is Haryana, Maharashtra, and Delhi, the RSS put their best foot forward. They worked very hard. The cadre went from door to door, and one of the reasons why it was one of the reasons why the BJP did so well. And I think the RSS, I'm told, got a bit of a shock, because while they would like Modi to change his style of functioning, to take their concerns much more on board, they don't want to do anything that brings Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party back to power, which then undoes everything that has been done in the last 11 years. So they,
No, but
they were
Neerja,
they
the
were
very
very
fact,
apprehensive about that.
right. No, but the very fact that Mohan Bhagwat is making this statement just a few days later, when this Prant Pracharak meeting, which happened in Delhi, 2 to 3 days, and they were supposed to come out with few names, and those names did come out. We had the name of Dharmendra Pradhan, then there was um, uh, several other names like Bhupendra Yadav. Then several other names came up for the post of the BJP president, but there was no consensus. We thought that at the end of that meeting there would be some kind of a pronouncement on the names, which never happened. So, which means it's very clear that all is not well between BJP and RSS. But is Mohan Bhagwat, by making this statement on 75 years, is he trying to divert the attention from the debate on the BJP president? Because the media has begun to ask questions. That it's more than a year, JP Nadda has been continuing on that post. When will the BJP get its new president? So is Mohan Bhagwat very cleverly trying to divert that narrative, or that question, in fact?
There can be two explanations. One, as you say, is a diversionary tactic. Now, this is like Dattatreya Hosabale, the General Secretary of the RSS, some days ago asked that the preamble be changed and the words socialism and secularism could be removed. At least he asked that this issue should be revisited and there should be a debate on that subject. Now, many people got into the act. The top brass of the BJP did not react. They were completely silent on that. And there are problems in removing those two words from the constitution, because the constitution of the BJP itself has those words and allegiance to secularism. Secondly, they have to contend with their allies. They're dependent on allies this time not having a clear majority. And thirdly, there would be ramifications globally, with the Muslim world and so on.
Yes.
So it'll be very difficult for the BJP to do this. So why was Dattatreya Hosabale also making that? One explanation was it was diversionary, that Parliament, the whole issue of Pahalgam, Operation Sindoor,
Yes.
the failures, the mistakes, the failure of intelligence, of security agencies, did Rafale and other planes brought down by Pakistan, so on. Many questions will be raised. So any diversionary tactic will deflect from those issues somewhat. They cannot completely deflect because the opposition will raise those issues on the floor of the House. Is that you can extend that argument and say, is Mohan Bhagwat doing the same thing by raising this thing of 75 years? Another issue comes up and media gets engaged and opposition gets engaged and so on. The other thing can be that is the RSS putting pressure on the BJP leadership to take their concerns much more seriously on board than has happened during the last 1 year on who will be the next party chief. Mr. Nadda's term came to an extended term came to an end in June 2024. But he has continued for more than 1 year because there seems to be no consensus on who will succeed him. There have been three names about whom we keep hearing. Mr. M.L. Khattar, Mr. Bhupendra Yadav, and Dharmendra Pradhan. And the order of preference, whether who's on top, who's number two, who's number three, keeps changing. But they have all three eminent names, they could be acceptable to RSS and BJP. Why that has not happened is mystifying, is intriguing, in fact. Now, last about 2 weeks ago, I heard that none of these three will be made party president. It could be
Yes.
a woman from the south, like
Yes.
Nirmala Sitaraman's name was there, Purandeshwari's name was there, and there is another MLA from Coimbatore, Vaniti Srinivasan, her name was there. And yet, no decision has been taken. For the RSS, the organization is very important, supremely important, particularly as they complete 100 years. And and their core agenda, most of it has been achieved. So what is the direction now for the BJP and the RSS in the coming years? Party chief of the BJP becomes a very important figure with whom they have to liaise. And I think RSS looks at the span of 50 years ahead, 10 years, 20
Right.
years, 40 years, and the direction in which they look at India as a civilizational entity and therefore taking their agenda forward. Now, if there is no
So can
agreement,
you
then I
say, Neerja,
suspect that is the reason why
right,
the
just
name
please allow
hasn't
me
been
to interrupt you
announced.
for a few seconds. You said that they want to strengthen the organization, but by making a statement on 75 years, has Bhagwat in categorical terms conveyed to Prime Minister Modi that RSS doesn't want him as the Prime Minister? And so he should start thinking of stepping down, or if he hasn't begun to think, at least he should start planning. Is that a message which has been sent out by Mohan Bhagwat's statement yesterday?
By innuendo, yes. In a nuanced way, yes. Mohan Bhagwat's statements, which are critical of the BJP or the government, are not direct. You remember there was K. Sudarshan, who was the RSS chief several years
Yes.
ago. He had directly, publicly, in an interview, said that Mr. Vajpayee and L.K. Advani should make way for younger leadership. He did not
Yes.
mince his word. But Mohan
Hmm.
Bhagwat is not cast in that mode. And the RSS leaders normally are very measured, cautious in their utterances. So a lot has to be read into what they say. And Mohan Bhagwat more so, though he's politically very savvy. So if you were to decode his words yesterday, yes, it would be read as, is he asking Narendra Modi, who's going to be 75, to consider making way for somebody else? But I don't
Hmm.
think that is likely to happen.
No, but Neerja, very interestingly, I was speaking to a few Congress people today because there's a lot of political reaction, not only from Congress, but several other parties which have responded to what Mohan Bhagwat said. And, many of them spoke about a deal between Mohan Bhagwat and Prime Minister Modi on this 75 years. Now, I don't know how much to believe in what they said, but do you think that there can be a deal between Mohan Bhagwat and Prime Minister Modi that, okay, look, we are not going to rake up this 75 years of issue anymore? Because if Mohan Bhagwat talks about it again, then questions will be asked of him as well, that why should he not step down and why should Prime Minister Modi alone step down? So do you think that there could be a possibility of a deal where there'll be a complete lid on this issue and no one will talk about it? You remember Amit Shah, I think it was last year, or Devendra Fadnavis, I don't clearly remember. So, but somebody did very clearly from the BJP say that no, Prime Minister Modi is going to continue even for 2029.
I think if there was a deal, then why rake this issue? It was a dead issue. Nobody was talking about anybody resigning. It was given.
Yeah.
And it was accepted in the RSS circles also that the Prime Minister will be the chair of the BJP in 2029. There doesn't seem to be a dispute. Amit Shah has already made that clear. So it's not as if anybody was challenging that at all. If there was a deal between the two of them that, okay, both of us continue, nobody's also asked Mohan Bhagwat to, quit. Nobody, no voice has asked. If he decides to go, it will be of his own volition. So I don't think there is a deal kind of a situation. In all likelihood, it could be pressure tactics that you take our concerns on board on issues such as who will be the next party president. Because remember, even before the election results had come out last year for the Lok Sabha, you remember the statement made by JP Nadda, which didn't go down very well with the RSS, that the BJP was now competent enough to run its affairs and did not need any hand-holding by the RSS. That was a very clear message. And Mr. Nadda could not have made that statement without clearance from the top.
Absolutely.
So I think, and Mr. Nadda, who's the choice of the Prime Minister, that he should continue for a year after. I was told by some RSS people last year, by the end of June, there'll be another person to replace him. Now it's beyond end of June, a year later in 2025, and still no sign of the party president. So obviously there are some problems that are not sorted out so far.
Yes. No, it's quite evident that all is not well between RSS and BJP. But there is another view that BJP will try and continue the stalemate over the BJP president much beyond the Bihar elections. And they will let JP Nadda continue. Now, but then if this kind of a stalemate and a deadlock continues, then what happens to the state BJP presidents which have been elected, the so-called sham election which has happened, where they've just nominated people? It was not a real election in the real sense. But then what happens to that? Because the BJP party constitution says that you have to elect your 50% state presidents, then only you can go in for the election of the main president of the party. What happens to that process? I mean, it looks so trivialized, it looks so diminished, the entire process.
Look, that process will just, be there. The state presidents have been elected, more than 50% have been elected. A president national president can be elected because there are obviously some impediments that name is not being announced, or there is not a consensus in an agreement between different stakeholders in the larger Sangh Parivar. Until they come to that conclusion, you may well be right that the new party chief may be appointed after the Bihar elections are over. That could be one possibility. But look, let's be fair. That happens. Sham elections, the real elections, all of that happens in every party. So it's not one party. It's BJP going through the motions. Congress goes through the motions. There are many other regional parties which don't even go through those motions.
True. So what is your hunch? I mean, will we get a BJP president soon, or this stalemate between RSS and BJP is going to, it looks endless and it's going to continue for some time more? I have a feeling that even for next year's elections, where elections are due in Assam, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, this stalemate might just continue over the next year as well. Can BJP stretch it that?
They cannot postpone it to, there are important elections next year. Those are not high-stake elections for the BJP. except for West Bengal.
Yes.
Kerala, not a factor. Tamil Nadu, they're not likely to come. And Assam, yes. Assam and West Bengal are states where they have stakes.
Hmm.
So yes, in two of them, it is important for them. And the party president does make a difference, and party president also takes time to settle down. It's not
Hmm.
an overnight development that you get a hand or you get the ropes immediately. You slowly grow into that role. And I think the sooner they have a party president, the better it would be. And
No, but in
so
your
this thing,
view, right. No, but Neerja, in your view, do you think that RSS has been able to convey its discontent, that they are not happy with the functioning of Prime Minister Modi? They are not happy with the functioning of Amit Shah. Have they been able to convey this properly, the way they should have? Because now they've seen this 11 years of rule by Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah. And there are strong murmurs that RSS now wants a prime minister of its choice. They want a president of their own choice. Now, but can they do it? Can they ramrod this? Will Modi buckle in? Will Amit Shah be ready to like agree to this kind of a situation? These are big questions at this moment.
look, as far as, the RSS conveying its views to the BJP leadership, there have been multiple conclaves, multiple meetings, all of last year at various levels, where things were, expressed from by both sides and concerns were taken on board, certain things addressed. And certainly, as I said, the RSS really put its best foot forward in those elections. Otherwise, the BJP would not have got the kind of majorities that it did manage to get. So it's not that the RSS did not work hard in the state elections. It did not. It held back in Uttar Pradesh and some other states in the Lok Sabha election, but not in the state assembly election. And I think because while they may be unhappy on a whole lot of counts, they will not do anything to rock the boat so that another party or the opposition parties come to power, because that means their agenda gets undone completely, and that's not something they're going to risk at all. So
Right.
while these parleys will go on back and forth, and officially the RSP people say it's for the BJP to decide who its president is going to be, not for
Right.
us to name anybody. But actually, that's not true. Organizational matters, it does want to have a say. And it is in the interest of the growth of the party that the organization is not under the control of the government, that it has an independent existence also to take decisions. I think that's where they are coming from.
But so, how does one read this statement by Mohan Bhagwat that it's simply a pressure tactics for BJP to start making way for the new BJP president? Do we read it at this particular time?
I would read it as like that. Is it pressure tactics that, okay, take our concerns into consideration and going for a president very soon? It could be diversionary to have
Hmm.
one more controversial issue to discuss while parliament is on. Or it could be, yeah, a kind of a preparation that Mohan Bhagwat, or a signal Mohan Bhagwat is giving, that I'm going to step down when I'm 75 and make way for somebody else. That would exert its own kind of pressure on the Prime Minister.
Hmm.
Though I think that would be short lived. I don't think that's going to be so decisive, because within the RSS, one heard voices that they had come to accept the fact that there is nobody else who can be the face of the BJP in the 2029 elections. There
True.
are post-Modi succession plan. Yes, they have been talking about. There are many names there. There is Yogi Adityanath, there's Devendra Fadnavis, there's Shivraj Chauhan. So those names are certainly there as possibilities. But uh, for 2029, I don't. And of course, there is Amit Shah. Amit Shah,
Yeah,
who's actually de facto running the government today.
absolutely. No, but if we read this as a pressure tactics, Neerja, and these are my last lap of two questions to you because I know you have to rush. Uh, so, if this is a pressure tactics, do you think that knowing Modi's nature, knowing Amit Shah's nature, they will really buckle into this pressure and they will be ready to ease out the situation in any way?
So, So far, we've not seen that happen.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it would not have taken a year.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
they may, after all, the president has to be appointed, and you can take a thing up to a point. So they may come to some kind of a conclusion. But obviously, this thing of a woman, and remember, there is already a humongous election organizational machinery of the BJP, the largest in the world, largest political mechanism in the world today. And there is a system that works, and the party president is only, up out there, like it's more than optics, but he has to work in close coordination with the Home Minister of India, who deals with all the organizational matters as well as the governance. A good chunk of governance he's looking after. So it has to be somebody who can work comfortably with the top two in the BJP, and the top two have to be happy with that name.
Mhm.
And it
But
also has to be somebody senior enough. You
yeah,
cannot have somebody who is not known all over the country.
right. But this is a well accepted fact now, Neerja, and I think you can vouch for it that RSS doesn't want Prime Minister Modi surely for 2029. And this message they've been able to successfully convey to the party.
Uh, I don't know whether so categorically, because they realize the situation. They may have reservations on his style of functioning, and they may think, people are not included in the decision making. Decision making is concentrated only in a few hands, and their concerns are not taken into account. So all those things they may feel, but I don't know whether they've decided that he should not be the face. I think I would say the other way, that they are clear, more or less, that he will be the only face. He can be the only face. He is there who can, remember, it's going to be a fourth term for the BJP, and not so easy. And in the
Absolutely.
third term, they didn't get a majority. So they will
Mhm.
have to rely on the allies, they'll have to rely on a popular, strong figure. And can any of the other players do that? Uh, it's a risk.
But one last question before I wind up the interview, Neerja, that there's a strong murmur in the political corridors that if by chance BJP misses Bihar in any way, I mean the Bihar elections, could that become a turning point and the government at the center could fall? Is that a possibility you see, or this is something too far fetched at this moment?
I think too far-fetched, and it will be a huge setback to lose a
Okay.
Hindi heartland state like Bihar. Huge setback. It will affect, East India states also, Assam and
Yes.
West Bengal. West Bengal, I think Mamta will make it.
Yes.
Assam also, it will be a fight with Gaurav Gogoi now having been sent there. But essentially, we come down to the inability of the Congress and the opposition group to
I
mount a convincing narrative and to provide a convincing alternative to the BJP led by Narendra Modi. People may be dissatisfied, unhappy, disaffected, but who's on the other side? They keep saying that. They say, oh, Rahul Gandhi is well meaning, but they don't see this group being the alternative, at least not so far. I think that is the big handicap in the scenario.
Absolutely, and which is why now I say in my programs repeatedly that we've been asking questions to the BJP government, but now 11 years of BJP rule, and if the opposition has not been able to put its act together, it's time now we should ask some tough questions to the opposition as well. But for now, like what you said, that Mohan Bhagwat's statement on 75 years is nothing but a pressure tactics. So we leave it at here. Thank you so much, Neerja, for joining on HW. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nilu.